Beef macaroni soup is a timeless comfort food, warm, hearty, and brimming with flavors that evoke memories of family dinners and cozy evenings. Its origins span cultures and kitchens worldwide, but the essence remains the same. Tender beef, wholesome vegetables, and perfectly cooked macaroni noodles all swimming together in a savory, aromatic broth. Today, we'll explore how to create the best beef macaroni soup you've ever tasted, transforming simple ingredients into a bowl of pure satisfaction. Let's begin with the foundation of any great soup, the beef. For a rich, robust flavor, choose a well-marbled cut. Ground beef is the classic choice, but for a deeper taste, consider using stew meat or chuck roast. Cut into small cubes. If you opt for ground beef, select an 80-20 blend, which strikes the right balance between flavor and texture. Begin by heating a large, heavy-bottomed pot over medium-high heat. Add a tablespoon of olive oil, swirling to coat the bottom. When the oil shimmers, add the beef. Let it sear, undisturbed, for a couple of minutes to develop a caramelized crust. A key step for building flavor. Season generously with salt and freshly ground black pepper. As the beef browns, break it up into bite-sized pieces with a wooden spoon, ensuring each morsel is evenly cooked and beautifully browned. Once the beef is browned and the tantalizing aroma fills your kitchen, it's time to introduce the aromatic vegetables. Classic beef macaroni soup calls for the holy trinity of soup bases: onion, carrot, and celery. Dice 1 large onion, 2 carrots, and 2 ribs of celery, aiming for uniform pieces so they cook evenly. Add them to the pot, stirring to combine with the beef and scraping up any browned bits from the bottom. These tiny bits, known as fond, are packed with concentrated flavor and will infuse your soup with a depth that can't be achieved any other way. Allow the vegetables to soften, stirring occasionally, for about 5 minutes. As they cook, they'll begin to release their natural sweetness, melding beautifully with the savory beef. If you want to add a layer of complexity, toss in a few minced garlic cloves at this stage. Garlic brings a subtle, aromatic punch that makes each spoonful more inviting. With the aromatics softened and the beef thoroughly mingled, it's time to build the soup's body. Pour in 6 cups of quality beef broth, homemade if you have it, or a low-sodium store-bought variety. The broth is the soul of the soup, so choose one with a rich, beefy flavor. For a touch of acidity and brightness, add 1 can, about 14 ounces, of diced tomatoes, juices, and all. The tomatoes provide a gentle tang that balances the richness of the beef and the sweetness of the vegetables. At this point, the soup begins to take shape, but it's the seasonings that truly set this recipe apart. Add a teaspoon of dried oregano, a teaspoon of dried basil, and a bay leaf. These herbs impart an Italian-inspired essence that complements the beef and tomatoes perfectly. For a subtle heat, sprinkle in a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes, adjusting to your preference. If you enjoy a slightly smoky undertone, a dash of smoked paprika can be transformative. Bring the soup to a gentle boil, then reduce the heat to low. Let it simmer uncovered for about 20 minutes. This allows the flavors to meld and deepen, while the broth reduces slightly for a more concentrated taste. As the soup simmers, your kitchen will fill with the inviting scent of herbs and savory beef, promising a meal that's as nourishing as it is delicious. While the soup simmers, prepare the macaroni. Use about 1 cup. Elbow macaroni is traditional, but any small pasta shape will do. Here's a crucial tip. Cook the pasta separately in a pot of salted boiling water until just al dente. Drain and set aside. Cooking the pasta separately prevents it from absorbing too much broth and becoming mushy, ensuring each bite retains the perfect texture. Once the soup has simmered and the flavors are unified, add the cooked macaroni to the pot. Stir gently to combine, making sure the pasta is evenly distributed. Taste the soup, adjusting the seasoning with more salt and pepper if needed. If you prefer a thicker soup, let it simmer for a few extra minutes. For a lighter, brothier version, add a splash of water or extra broth. For added nutrition and color, consider stirring in a handful of fresh or frozen peas, green beans, or baby spinach during the last few minutes of cooking. These vegetables retain their vibrant color and tender texture, adding a fresh contrast to the hearty soup. Now, let's discuss finishing touches, those small details that elevate a good soup to something truly unforgettable. Just before serving, drizzle in a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce or soy sauce. This secret ingredient adds umami depth, enhancing all the savory notes already present. For a touch of brightness, squeeze in the juice of half a lemon or sprinkle in a tablespoon of chopped fresh parsley. These finishing touches wake up the flavors, making each spoonful sing. Ladle the beef macaroni soup into bowls. If you're feeling indulgent, top each serving with a generous sprinkle of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. The cheese melts into the hot soup, adding creaminess and a salty kick that pairs beautifully with the rich broth and tender beef. Serve with a crusty piece of bread or a warm roll for a meal that's as satisfying as it is comforting. As you take your first bite, notice the balance of flavors: the savory beef, the sweetness of carrots and onions, the tang of tomatoes, and the gentle heat from the seasonings. The macaroni is tender but not mushy, absorbing just enough broth to carry the flavors without losing its bite. Each spoonful is a harmonious blend of textures and tastes, both familiar and elevated. This beef macaroni soup isn't just a recipe, it's an invitation to gather around the table, to share stories and laughter over a steaming bowl of homemade comfort. It's a reminder that simple ingredients, treated with care and attention, can yield extraordinary results. Whether you're cooking for your family on a chilly evening or preparing a big batch to share with friends, this soup is sure to become a treasured favorite. If you wish to make this soup ahead of time, it stores beautifully. Simply cool it to room temperature and refrigerate in an airtight container. The flavors deepen as it sits, making leftovers even more delicious. When reheating, consider adding a splash of broth or water to loosen the soup, as the pasta will continue to absorb liquid. For those who like to experiment, this recipe is endlessly adaptable. Try adding diced potatoes or sweet corn for a heartier texture, or swap the macaroni for gluten-free pasta if needed. For a richer broth, stir in a tablespoon of tomato paste or a splash of red wine as the soup simmers. If you prefer a spicier kick, increase the red pepper flakes or add a chopped jalapeno alongside the vegetables. Vegan or vegetarian, substitute the beef with plant-based crumbles or hearty lentils and use vegetable broth instead of beef. The soup remains just as comforting and flavorful, with a wholesome, satisfying character. No matter how you make it, the key to the best beef macaroni soup is patience and attention to detail. Take the time to brown the beef, sauté the vegetables, and simmer the broth. Taste as you go, adjusting the seasoning to suit your palate. And, most importantly, enjoy the process. Because the best meals aren't just about the finished dish, but about the care and love that go into every step. So next time you crave something warm, filling, and undeniably delicious, reach for this beef macaroni soup recipe. It's more than just a meal. It's a tradition, a comfort, and a celebration of home cooking at its finest. Gather your ingredients, roll up your sleeves, and savor the simple joy of making and sharing the best beef macaroni soup ever.